Hi, and welcome back to the Demystifying Mental Toughness podcast with me, David Charlton. I'm fresh from a great trip in the sunshine in Egypt with lots of fun on the water slides, a bit of golf and other activities, as well as plenty of time to relax with my wife and kids. It was fantastic and I'd really recommend Egypt. It's the first time I've been and it was a beautiful place. Amazing. I hope you had a fun week last week too. Over the past few episodes, we've been exploring the coach-athlete relationship and how powerful that connection can be in helping the athlete gain control of their emotions and themselves and their futures, as well as shaping their motivation and commitment. Today, I'm going to be talking about another dynamic. Again, something that I see quite a lot in sport. It's the meeting point between a very confident coach and an athlete who lacks confidence in their ability. And on the surface, this combination might look strong. A confident leader should inspire belief. On the surface, this combination might look strong. A confident leader, you would think, should inspire belief. But if the balance isn't right, this pairing can unintentionally create anxiety, self-doubt, and even disengagement. So let's explore what's really going on here. And more importantly, what coaches can do to create the right environment for this type of athlete. We'll start with the highly confident coach. So this coach, you'll agree, brings a lot of strengths. They believe strongly in their methods. They trust their experiences. They draw on their own playing or performance background, which is fantastic. They make decisions quickly. They show conviction and clarity, and athletes often appreciate that certainty. However, confidence can sometimes tip into overconfidence. And this is where we might see coaches who don't look for external feedback or alternative perspectives. So they lack self-awareness. They believe that their way is the only way. They take on too much themselves rather than developing athlete ownership. They assume that because they played at a high level, they automatically know how to coach effectively. And in some environments, this can lead to intolerance of mistakes, frustration with athletes who learn more slowly, unrealistic expectations, communication you might feel as blunt or overly critical, and while the intention might be to raise standards, the impact can be very, very different. Athletes might go on to perceive the coach as arrogant, unapproachable, even a bully. In some cases, they might well find them very, very intimidating. And this is where self-awareness, yep, that word again, self-awareness becomes absolutely crucial. And we're thinking about this low in confidence athlete. So now let's consider the athlete on the other side of this relationship. This athlete is low in confidence. They often look quiet or they might be disengaged, but inside their head, there's usually an awful lot happening. You might notice responses like so. You might notice minimal responses when you ask questions. They may well have a reluctance to speak up or ask for help. They may avoid challenges. In their minds, they're constantly comparing themselves with teammates. So internally, the dialogue sounds like, I'm not as good as them. If I ask a coach, I'll look stupid. The coach thinks I'm useless. Tommy's always getting praised, while I'm always getting shouted at. Even a small piece of criticism to this athlete can feel like confirmation that they're not good enough. And this links closely to Bandura's concept of self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to succeed in a specific situation. And low self-efficacy, well, it's strongly associated with anxiety, fear of mistakes, avoidance behaviors, a pessimistic outlook, whereas a confident athlete thinks, what can I learn from this? A low confidence athlete thinks, this proves I just don't belong here. And when you combine that mindset with a highly demanding or blunt coaching style, the gap, well, it can widen very, very quickly. And this takes us on to the coach-athlete relationship. And this is absolutely crucial because when you've got this highly confident coach working with this athlete who's low in confidence, the relationship itself can really close that gap or it can widen it. I'm going to draw upon Sophia Jowett's research again to help us understand this through her well-known model, the 3+1 C's model. So these C's, we've got closeness, commitment, complementarity, and co-orientation. And we're going to break down this into a bit of context. So closeness is about trust, respect, and emotional connection. For a low-confidence athlete, this is huge. They need to feel that the coach believes in them. They want to feel valued, not judged, and mistakes won't damage that relationship. If the coach appears impatient, dismissive, or overly critical, this athlete doesn't just hear the feedback, they hear, I'm not good enough. And once that perception forms, the athlete starts protecting themselves rather than learning. They play it safe, they stop asking questions, they avoid risks, and confidence, well, it just drops even further. Commitment, when we're thinking about the coach-athlete relationship, refers to both the coach and the athlete being invested in the relationship over the long term. So a confident coach may focus heavily on performance outcomes, but for a low confidence athlete, commitment looks like, I'm not giving up on you. We're working on your development. We're not judging your current level. So simple messages like, you're improving. This takes time. I can see the effort you're putting in. These signals are going to reduce the anxiety and support long-term belief for the athlete. Then we've got complementarity, and this is about how the coach and the athlete work together, their behavioral fit. And this is where mismatches often do happen. A highly confident coach might be direct, fast-paced, demanding, instruction-heavy, but a low-confidence athlete often needs time to process. They need questions rather than commands. They need encouragement alongside correction. If the coach dominates this interaction, the athlete's going to become passive. They stop thinking for themselves. And ironically, the coach may interpret this as they lack motivation, when actually the athlete's overwhelmed. Complementarity, well, it's going to improve when coaches shift from telling to asking. What did you notice there? What option did you see? What would you try next time? This is going to build ownership. And with ownership, it's going to build confidence. Now for this fourth C, co-orientation. And this is about shared understanding. Do the coach and the athlete see the situation in the same way? This is often where problems sit. The coach might think, I'm pushing them because they've got potential. The athlete might think, they're disappointed in me. The coach believes they're motivating. The athlete experiences pressure. So regular check-ins help close this gap. How are you finding training at the moment? What helps you feel confident here? What feels challenging for you right now? Without these conversations, coaches are often working on assumptions. And when these four elements, closeness, commitment, complementarity, and co-orientation are strong, something really, really important happens. The athlete starts to interpret feedback differently. Correction becomes help. Challenge becomes opportunity. And high standards feel supportive rather than threatening. But when the relationship's weak, even well-intentioned coaching can feel like criticism. And for a low-confidence athlete, perception, well, it is everything. Because confidence doesn't grow just from good coaching, it grows from feeling understood within the relationship. So, what does a balanced approach look like here for this coach and for the athlete? Firstly, the confident coach's strengths are valuable. Clear standards, strong direction, belief in this athlete's potential, but these need to be paired with awareness, self-awareness and adaptability. So here's a few practical shifts. Let's replace outcome language, outcome pressure with process focus. So instead of you must perform today, use let's focus on your decision making. Let's focus on your effort. Let's focus on your communication. Let's focus on your movement. Process goals give athletes something controllable to succeed at. It helps build confidence. You know, confidence shouldn't come from recent form, selection decisions, your last performance, or praise. Instead, why not help athletes recognize that confidence can come from preparation, from effort, from progressing, from executing skills, from problem solving? This builds stable self-efficacy, not fragile confidence. Then we've got creating psychological safety. Ask, what did you notice? What would you try differently next time? And most importantly, respond without a judgment. This then encourages optimism rather than pessimism. We've also got just noticing quiet athletes. Keep your eyes open. Silence isn't always understanding. Often, it's actually fear. A simple one-to-one conversation can make a huge difference to an athlete who's looking quiet. So, the key messages today, as far as I'm concerned, is confidence from the coach doesn't automatically create confidence in the athlete. In fact, without awareness, it can sometimes increase anxiety and self-doubt. For me, great coaching sits in the middle. Great coaches have got high standards, strong belief, and a genuine understanding of the individual in front of you. That's right, the person, as well as the athlete. And why is this important? Well, because confidence grows in environments where athletes feel safe to try, safe to fail, and supported to learn. I hope you found this episode useful. Next week, which is going to be part 6 of this 8-week series, we're going to build on this and we're going to look more closely at interpersonal confidence and how coaches can actively help athletes in this department to develop their communication skills, which is going to be especially important in team sport settings. Until then, have a great week ahead. If you enjoyed this episode of the Demystifying Mental Toughness podcast with David Charlton, do check out my website, sport-excellence.co.uk, and my online sport psychology resources. The Sport-Excellence website has essential resources for anyone looking to build their own mental toughness or the mental toughness of their athletes or teams, or if you want to achieve peak performance more often or optimal functioning. The Sport Excellence website has everything you need to keep moving forward and thrive. So go on, head over to sport-excellence.co.uk to find out more.